Ready to take up CLAT 2024? Watch this video till the end where we dive into the strategies and tips required to help you crack CLAT in your very first attempt.
Exactly to be done, try to understand what exactly CLAT tests your skills, right? If you check, they heavily test your comprehending ability. They test your logical sense. They test your analytical ability to an extent with help of mathematics, and in case they ask analytical reasoning. But big time what they test is, which a lot of people do not actually understand, is that they test that are you a knowledge seeking aptitude you have or not, right? That's very, very important. To my mind, apart from logical sense, what dominates in this case and comprehending ability, which is testing big time, I would say the very first thing which is tested is comprehending ability, because it is common to all the sections, excluding mathematics, almost negligible in mathematics. But second thing which would dominate, which people would think about logical ability, which is definitely a very dominant factor. But second thing is your general awareness. Try to understand that be it English language, if you see the past year paper, the 2023 paper, legal reasoning, out of 7 topics were current affairs. I'm just excluding the GK. GK already is 25% of your paper. But if you check English, it was also half of the sections were general knowledge. If you check logical reasoning, that also half of the passages were general awareness. So needless to say that it is very important to understand that the GK part is very, very important. You need to actually go through the GK part. It will not only help you in GK section, it will also help you in other sections. Because just imagine if you're reading something on say the Palestine or Ukraine war, or you're reading something on Ayodhya issue, or you're reading something on something very, very much in news, maybe on Cricket World Cup or Hockey World Cup, and you're very much aware about it, the amount of time you will be saving will be amazing, and that can really give you a competitive edge. Mainly, you should revise current affairs. Whatever you have done so far, first priority should be that. You must draw a mechanism how to revise. Particularly in last 3 days, if you can revise the entire thing in 2 times, that will be great. And those who have not prepared so well, I think you can choose some very, very important topics which is most expected, and try to go a little in depth. If you check the last year, 4 or 5 of the topics were very general type, but they went a lot in depth. Cryptocurrency, be it, or Draupadi Murmu, it was asked. It was 2 very, very, very highly frequent. It was a very important current affairs, but still they went into a depth. So if you can choose some topics which has a lot of, like particularly Middle East, the entire scenario, the current affairs scenario which is going on, that should be read in depth, all the accords, how it originated. There's a lot history behind this Israel and Palestine issue. Some topics like this which has a lot of depth inside, you must go into it. And I think these 4-5 days are very important for that. Apart from this, in these last 8 days, QT, quantitative techniques, that is mathematics, and analytical reasoning. This requires a warm-up. It requires a constant warm-up. I don't know if you have realized it. The moment you leave these things and don't practice, it makes a lot of difference. For comprehension, reading comprehension and logic, you don't need to really revise in the last 4-5 or practice in the last 4-5 days or 1 week. But these 2 are things you must practice. Every day you can practice for half an hour to 1 hour. This will help you to generate speed. Otherwise, you might get stuck. So this is what you can give priority to. Try to simplify your plan. Don't complicate your plan. Don't try to listen to too many advices. Otherwise, you will get confused. Whatever the way you have been preparing has been working well, try to continue with that. Mistakes, I would say, number 1, lot of people think that legal reasoning, since it plays a role in breaking up the tie, so they emphasize a lot on attempting legal reasoning first, trying to attempt the entire thing, and giving more priority to legal reasoning. And that way what happens, the problem is that it might so happen that the paper, according to your capability and the level of difficulty, genuinely it was difficult or it was impossible to finish the entire paper with a genuine attempt, right? The moment you try to finish the entire paper without being capable, or if the paper is too difficult, then inaccuracy will be high and your ultimately the net score goes low. What people, instead of judging what exactly the level of legal reasoning is, you try to attempt everything, all the questions, and give a lot of priority. So what happens, like say for instance 2021 paper, legal reasoning was the most time consuming, and logical reasoning and mathematics was a cakewalk. I mean cakewalk. It was terribly easy, right? Particularly mathematics. So what happened, these two usually in the sequence, normal sequence, it is the last. So people got stuck. Even English was not that easy, so it took time. Then was GK, and then was legal reasoning. It again took a lot of time. So what happened? By the time people came to logical reasoning and this one, the time was almost over, and they had to hurry down, and they lost the marks ultimately. So when you have to leave certain passages, ultimately, it is better to leave the toughest section, and don't do the mistake of necessitating the attempt of legal reasoning, because the moment you get just one extra marks, you're above, you are in the next lap. So not to get confused with breaking the tie first, that is not the priority. That should not be the priority. Second mistake is darkening the ovals. Darkening the ovals you take very lightly. Once you are darkening, either you are very relaxed, you are doing it in a one by one. One by one is fine, but there can be several better strategies to do that. Number one could be when you are darkening the ovals, OMR sheet, because it's more of a reading, like excluding mathematics, is more of a reading, comprehending, and then marking it. So on the right hand side, if you're a right hand writer, then take the OMR sheet, keep your hand and the pen exactly on the OMR sheet at that particular question. While you have read the passage, after that your hand movement should be on the OMR sheet. Keep answering it and keep marking it. This could be one strategy. Other one could be, if you feel disturbed because of that, you can solve one passage and mark it. Even better would be mark the entire section there, tick it, so that if there is a change in the answer, you can do it, because if you are doing that directly, there is a chance, because you will not be able to change the answer. The moment you change the answer, you will be getting a negative mark. So sometimes you realize a few seconds later that you have wrongly marked it. So it is safer. The best way is section wise, although the best way is entire paper you should solve and then do it 10 minutes before. But I don't think you'll be in too much stress because of that. You finish one section, whatever you attempted out of the 5, 6, 7 passages, you are able to do 3, 4, 5, whatever, and then you want to shift and to other section. In that case, those 25 or 30 or 20 questions which you have marked, first mark it on ovals and do it in a block of 5, 5, because your OMR sheet will be also in a block of 5. Be very aggressive, be very cautious, try to save a lot of time, and you can do it like this: B, B, C, D, dot. Dot means you have not attempted that, right? So that you remember, and keep that repeating in the mind, and try to complete that very quickly. If you apply the law of economics also, it says that when you are doing a specialized job, you are much faster. So obviously that will be a lot of time saving. While you're darkening the ovals, the pen which you are choosing should be neither very thick, obviously, but usually people do a mistake. They're normally very casually, they carry any pen. You must not even, not only you should carry that thicker pen, you should also practice with that particular thicker pen. Test it well. And a thicker pen, 0.7 mm or even 1.0 would be really a good one. So if you can darken that, it will be much, much faster, because if you, by mistake, if you are carrying a very, very thin pen, that means it will be taking huge time. It can make a difference almost. Say maybe if normally you take 3-4 seconds to darken the vowels, it might take much more than that. It might be double or triple also. So this is one mistake which you do. Another mistake is that on the last day, I mean particularly on the exam day, don't try to revise GK. Even on the Saturday, try to relax. On 2nd of December, try to relax more rather than you may revise a little bit of GK. Do not take mock. Another mistake is that you start taking mocks in the last 3-4 days. Ideally, if you have already taken more than 50 mock tests or at least 40 mock tests, ideally you should not take mock test in the last week itself. I think maybe after 2 days you should stop taking mocks. In this period, the anxiety level is usually very high, and either you'll feel very low while taking the mocks, or because of the anxiety it will not go correct. So and there is a charm of taking a test. Try to conserve it and keep it for the 3rd December. That will be much better.